I'm sure by now you've got the hang of how to make a basic sponge cake, and that'll see you through the rest of your life. This time though, I'm going to show you how to make different kinds of sponge cake. One of the most popular over the years is this, which is a coffee and walnut sponge cake. To make it, we're using exactly the same ingredients as before, only this time, instead of a vanilla extract, we're using a rounded tablespoon of instant coffee espresso powder. Then just go in with a whisk like before and mix it again for 1 minute. But now the big difference is we're going to add 50 grams of chopped walnuts. And this is going to give me an opportunity to show you another important cake making technique. When a recipe says fold in the ingredients, this is how to do it. You use a metal spoon, and as you can see, the mixture literally gets folded over. So scoop it right from the base and just lift and gently fold over. Why like this? Because once again, we need to keep all that precious air that's been whisked into the mixture and not knock it all out by being too rough. The cake is cooked in exactly the same way as in lesson 1, but you get a bit more cake this time because of the nuts. Instead of using an oversweet, heavy buttercream, this is a lighter alternative. This is an Italian dairy ingredient called mascarpone. It's thick, very luscious and very creamy. For a little bit of sweetness, we're going to add 1 level tablespoon of golden caster sugar, and this time a rounded dessert spoon of espresso powder. And then to loosen it, just 1 tablespoon of milk. Just combine everything together until it has a smooth, spreadable consistency. If it feels a bit stiff, you can always add a spot more milk. Now to fill the cake. Place half the filling over the base, spread it out evenly, then place the other half of the cake on top. Press it down gently, and I hope you can see the lovely sponginess of this perfect cake. Now put the rest of the mascarpone cream on the top, and using a side-to-side swirling movement with the palette knife, make a pattern. And for a final flourish, place 8 walnut halves in a circle on top of the cake. These rather special walnut halves are called Sir walnuts and are available at Sainsbury's. I'll just let the picture here speak for itself. We're going to have a bit of fun now and have a go at a Swiss roll. You're going to be amazed at how easy and quick it is. It's almost the same as the vanilla sponge cake, but the good news is this time we're using half the fat. This is our 20 by 30 centimetre Swiss roll tin, which has its own liner, and see how quickly and easy it fits. When the mixture goes into the tin, it's going to look a bit mean, but not to worry because it rises beautifully in the oven, which this time is preheated to 200 degrees centigrade, gas mark 6, and it only takes about 14 to 15 minutes until it's springy in the centre, just like before. Now this is the fun bit. Place some damp kitchen paper or a damp tea towel onto a flat surface, and on top of that a piece of baking parchment, about 2.5 centimetres larger than the tin. Then sprinkle it with some caster sugar all over. You'll now find it very easy to lift the cake holding the liner and then turn it out onto the sugared paper. Then carefully and gently peel the liner back and watch how very easily it comes off. Now take a sharp knife, cut off the edge of the cake about 3 millimetres all the way round, because this will make it easier to roll and much neater and help to prevent it from cracking. What to do with the trimmings? Well, I've never had a problem. Cover with a damp tea towel for a couple of minutes, which just softens it slightly. Then remove the tea towel, spread the cake with 3 to 4 tablespoons of your favourite jam, or of course you could use lemon curd. Now get ready, not to rock but to roll. Make a small incision about 2.5 centimetres from the edge, cutting across the cake but not too deeply. Now off you go. Start with the end piece and holding the sugared paper firmly behind the cake, roll the whole thing up. When you get to the end, now you can breathe again. But hold it in place for a few moments to set in position. Transfer it to a cooling rack. Then all that's left to do is dust it with a little more sugar before serving. After that, just watch it disappear. Now you've learnt how to make a sponge cake, you'll find this one is going to be very hard to beat. Because homemade, this double lemon drizzle cake is in another league. This time we've got a larger mixture with 3 eggs, 170 grams of sugar, butter, self-raising flour and a teaspoon of baking powder. In goes the juice of 1 large lemon and the grated outer zest of 3. Before we start whisking, we're adding 40 grams of poppy seeds, but if you want, you can make it without. We just think the poppy seeds give it a nice texture. Then, as before, it's all just whisked together. For the larger mixture, this is a deeper 20 centimetre loose-based cake tin, and it's greased and lined with the base liner as before. This time, the cooking time is longer, 40 minutes in a preheated oven until you get the same springy centre. Leave the cake in the tin because now we're going to make the drizzle, which has to be made just before you use it. First, the juice of 3 large lemons, the grated zest of 1, followed by 50 grams of sifted golden icing sugar and 100 grams of golden granulated sugar. But just whisk it briefly. Stab the cake all over with a skewer and spoon the syrup evenly over the top, allowing it to sink down into the hot cake. Then finally sprinkle with 1 rounded tablespoon of granulated sugar that's been mixed with 1 rounded teaspoon of poppy seeds. Leave it all to get quite cold. Now this is how you remove a cake from a loose-based tin. And you don't need to spend extra money on springform tins because they're difficult to clean and the clips eventually break. First, slide a palette knife around the edges to loosen it. Then place it on an upturned bowl and gently slide the sides of the tin downwards. What you've got now is a very crunchy, sugary top and a fragrant, sharp, very syrupy cake inside. So now you've learnt how to make sponge cakes, you can confidently make any recipe from our collection here online.